excited.
Boys Gone Wild episode 30.
Energy, I love it.
Boys Gone Wild episode 85? 85. Take one.
What are we going to do for number 100? Crystal Air got his dad on for number 100.
Did he?
For number 200, so we can get both our dads on.
Was that number 100? I swear he's done more than that.
200.
Well then, if it's one dad at 200, it'd mean that we'd need to
Two dads at 100. For two dads at 200.
No, because we haven't earned a dad yet. We'd have to get our uncles on.
Okay.
Because it's 100.
So you
200 is your dad. That's very
dad.
personal.
Can we
100 is uncles.
Can we reveal both dads at 200 or only one?
There's only one.
Okay.
Because it would be 400.
400 we need, but then both dads come on.
Both dads come on. 300 you get your dad on. 200 my dad.
200, yeah, okay. And then
100 both are uncles.
Both are uncles.
Uncles are only worth one quarter of a dad.
Half a dad.
Quarter of a dad.
I'm not sure about your maths, but I believe
No, because there's two uncles.
Yeah, I know there's two uncles, but so one uncle is a quarter, therefore making a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you can double down. And
So
get
yeah, two uncles is half, one uncle is quarter. Exciting plans in the future.
Exciting plans, yeah. I think or we could get our bum out.
We could get the bums out.
Yeah.
You said our bum like we share one.
I feel we share
I
one.
mean, it's similar.
I feel it's more like like a timeshare, which like lower middle class families have like a house in Cornwall that they'll have between 5 of them.
Yeah.
For breaks away. I think that's kind
So
of.
do we timeshare someone else's bum? Like a random guy in Cornwall's bum?
No, we just timeshare the arts. Sometimes we're borrowing.
Can you think of a more horrible looking thing than taking my left cheek and your right cheek and putting it together?
I don't know. No, I can't.
I can't.
What about? No, I can't think of anything. So the heat's been very strong, and as you can see, famously, good podcaster, bad gardener,
Plant
Horatio Gould. That's me. The last plant died, so we got a new one in which had a bit more flavour to it. I've been away for maybe 2 days, and it's nearly dead. However, I have watered it. This is for people on the video, and it does spring back very quickly. So watch it. Over the course of the episode, it will slowly come back to life. It's quite an amazing thing to do.
And that's a metaphor, given that we're all just coming out of lockdown.
Yeah. Hello, Andrew. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
How are you finding what's going on? What's happening with
What's
you?
cracking? What's going on, life? We can start off the episode with a lovely bit of good news.
Yeah, good news.
Some great news. Have to give a shout out to all of you who participated in this campaign. It's been a long, arduous journey.
It has been.
I'm not sure how many months it's been, but it's been close to a year, nearly, that we've been kind of we've been spearheading this general, this kind of social event, this social cause.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done it without you guys.
Yeah.
But it's with great pleasure that I can share the news that Bradley Walsh is planning to resign very soon.
God.
So give yourself a pat on the back, round of applause.
We did it, guys.
We absolutely did it. Sometimes you think, do we have any power in our society? Are we just kind of mindless consumers being controlled by big governments, big celebrities, big game show hosts? No. This is one for us, guys. We've got to take.
It's still a long road ahead.
Every win. There's still a hell of a long road ahead. Who knows? We're like, I don't even know who's going to replace him on the chase yet.
Yeah.
But it's got to go through a lot of vetting, and we need all your opinions on it. And again, if we're not happy with that, we're going to have to start all this over.
We're going to have to start again, but it doesn't matter because we're ready. Because it's these little victories that might not seem like it's going to topple the whole system, but it's proven to us that we can win. Much like when the Viet Cong at the beginning of the Vietnam War, there was one battle. There were constantly this air of invincibility around the US military. And then one battle, the guerrilla warfare tactics beat away tanks, beat away napalm. And that feeling that they knew that the US was no longer invincible gave them enough morale that lasted throughout the whole war with an eventual victory. So that's what I see this as.
During the Troubles in Ireland, about 15 men took over a post office against like 5 troops of the British Army. They bloody held them out. They bloody won. And that was us against Bradley Walsh.
The Cornish terrorists once blew up a Rick Stein's fish and chip shop. I don't know if that...
I don't know why that's relevant.
I don't think it's relevant.
No.
But it is also funny.
We're now just naming historical events. Sometimes I'd say I wouldn't want to call us terrorists.
Sure.
But, sometimes if we have to get a bit more aggressive in our means...
Hey, I don't care what they call us.
Freedom fighters. We know who we are deep inside.
It's guerrilla warfare.
We don't need the media to give us our names. Tell us what we're about.
I think the big things, you had that whole episode where we made a clip of you calling Bradley Walsh a cunt over 15 times. And then in the recent sketch that he posted 2 days ago,
Celebrity paedophile.
I called him a celebrity paedophile, which I felt quite like this might send some shockwaves. And it also, he's not a celebrity paedophile. There's been no proof of it, but it feels he might as well be, considering how he treats the industry.
How he rapes the entire nation.
Yes.
With his performance on The Chase every single night.
Which is in many ways a worse crime.
Yes.
In many ways.
Well, obviously. I mean, you've got to think about the scope of the amount of people that
so much scope.
Watch The Chase and enjoy the format of the game show, but don't enjoy the maniac who presents it.
So now we're The Chase is hostless. Do you want to run? Do you have a short list of people who?
Well, it's me. It's me
is
again. It's part of my "Who the fuck is this guy?" appearances on TV. So I want, after Strictly and some of the various game shows, such as Would I Lie to Drew?
Would I Lie to
Have I Got News for Drew? I would then move on in my
Drew?
imaginary world.
No.
We still call it The Chase.
The Trace.
The Trace.
The Trues.
The Trace. But with me at the helm. And I wouldn't be sarcastic about people's answers.
What
if
about,
they didn't know a question, I'd just move on.
Is that the big thing you bring?
That's the big thing.
That's the big thing you'll bring into.
Well, that's the big thing. That's what I see The Chase and I see what needs changing about The Chase, and that is the biggest thing that needs changing. And once we address that, we can get back to its roots.
Do you think you could ever imagine potentially wanting to do The Chase where you're both the chaser and the chasee
and the contestant? So all three.
So you start. When you're at the top, you have to run between the two things.
Do I have wear a wig?
You've hurriedly put one on.
Already put one on. It's often like the wrong way around and stuff.
And they try and edit it to make it seem like there's two different people, but it's not. It's live TV, so there's gonna be a lot of times where.
Now I'm gonna say no to that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna lay out the reasons why.
Please do.
The main reason why is I feel like we need some stability in the world and we need some stability in The Chase. There's gonna be, now Bradley Walsh, as much of a cunt he is. He's got some big. He's big shoes to fill, and he's been such a stable he appears so stably on our televisions every night with The Chase that the nation is going to be shocked when he's not there. Now we'll be relieved as well as shocked, but we need. I'm calling for, and we must have a period of stability. Whilst
do you think
this
it's going to be like
over.
post-French Revolution, where it's like? Obviously, there was a tyrannical regime.
There's going to be a power struggle.
But there's going to be the reign of terror, which is like the 20 years of power struggle that happens in the vacuum left.
Well, Horatio, I sincerely hope not. I think we don't
do you
need
think
that.
it's going to get worse before it gets better?
God, I really hope not. But it could do.
We
need to brace ourselves for anything in these dark, confusing
do you think maybe
times.
a Richard Madeley could make it onto the show?
Which one's he?
He's the one who's like Alan Partridge.
Oh, God, yeah, I've been watching a lot of him.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
You're a fan of Richard Madeley?
I'm a massive fan of
I
Richard
like Madeley as well.
He's brilliant. He's
absolutely
fucking amazing.
Brilliant, yeah. He's everything Bradley Walsh wants to be.
I think so, yeah. Because, oh, God. I just all of the compilations of him being Alan Partridge.
It's extraordinarily accurate.
It is extraordinary.
Yeah, he even looks like him.
To the point where I think was Coogan basing anything off him?
Has he been doing this for 25 years?
Yeah, I think so. Richard and Judy,
I
man.
think I think it is based off Richard Madeley, yeah.
Well, that makes the compilations less funny almost, because it's like, what's the guy going to do?
Yeah, but
imagine if you were a character was based off you, and then everyone just took the piss out of you by being that character.
But he's
made.
He's Richie Madeley / Alan Partridge, so he doesn't realise that.
He doesn't realise,
and that's what's funny.
He must realise now though, because surely he's realised the amount of content there is about the compilation videos.
I don't think he is.
Surely celebrities find that. I was thinking that when I saw there's a very similar looking person to Scarlett Johansson on TikTok.
Yeah.
Incredibly similar.
Sure.
And she gets a lot of traction. So you've got to think.
Did you say, nice, very hot princess?
I said, beautiful woman. I like bed you soon. DM me in comments.
Come Brighton.
Come Brighton. It's sunny. Just like you.
That's the kind of comments I actually make on his TikTok.
That's the kind of comments I make on my friends' pictures on LinkedIn. So surely ScarJo, if I can call you that,
please do,
is going to. I'm not calling you.
I'm close with
Let's
her.
not make it confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, you are. Surely she's going to see.
She's a very chilled out girl.
She seems like a very chilled girl. Going out with Colin Jost, the king of the jokers. You know?
He is the king of the jokers. Too hot to be funny though.
Too hot to be funny.
And too successful in the bedroom
department and almost the career department as well, which makes you then.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't.
But surely she's seen it. So I believe my question to you is, do you think Richard Madeley has seen the compilation videos of him on YouTube?
Well, yeah, I guess if I could broaden this out to a broader question, I guess it's retained. I guess it is that with celebrities, the amount of shit you see about celebrities, how do they miss it?
Yeah.
But I guess you can live in a sphere where you stop looking at it. So I don't think Kanye looks at Instagram that
However,
much.
they all have friends and family around them.
Sure.
Do you think that none of Richard Madeley's friends or family have just dropped him a link saying, lol, or shall I get this removed?
Okay, imagine Richard Madeley.
Wait.
You got him.
Yeah.
Now think of his friends.
Yeah.
Are they sending him that?
They're not.
Exactly.
They're not.
They're sending him articles about like the Battle of Britain.
Yeah, true.
They're not sending him compilations of Richard Madeley.
Like old funny scenes from the Beano.
Yeah, because would you? So let's say you're a megastar.
Yeah.
Are you typing your name into Google? How do you manufacture that? Because I don't believe anyone who doesn't.
Who doesn't at least get, like when the celebrities come out and they're all kind of trying to be humble.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, I'd never kind of, you should keep your
maybe
mind
not the
fresh,
crassness of Googling it straight away.
Just, what do you mean straight away?
No, not the crassness of just putting your name into Google and seeing
like
what you
looking
can find.
around you.
Yeah.
Andrew Kerwin. I think you've got to.
You got to.
I think it depends on your
Actually,
level of
you're gonna have
megastar.
to take your mental health, because I reckon like 3 or 4 bad articles. Then it's like, this is no longer a fun.
I think it's an instant. You'll have an instant desire to, and it's
Yeah.
almost like a dark thing that you shouldn't do.
You shouldn't do,
but you need to at
No.
one point, and then you
It
need
feels
to have
like
a crisis.
looking at your ex's photos since you've broken up.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
shouldn't do it.
Exactly.
But you're still.
But you gotta.
Yeah,
You gotta.
Have fun on your holiday, babes. Have fun in Greece.
Have a lovely time. I think he looks great. I think it's exactly like that. But I think what you need to do is, as you're climbing up the celebrity ladder, you do it once. You have your breakdown.
Sure.
You do some weird things. You shave your legs or something. And then you realise, I'm not going to do that again. But you have to hit rock bottom to be able to grow.
It's true. This week, Andrew came to one of my comedy shows, which you haven't done for a while.
Well, there hasn't been any comedy shows in a while, to be fair to me.
Yeah, but it's I'm not saying that I wanted it, but no, it was nice. They came on Friday to the great venue, the Comedy Cabin, and yeah, Andrew sits at a strange position in the comedy world where, you know, he doesn't know anyone in the industry, but has some stake because he has this podcast.
Well, I know no one in the industry, but they all know me.
There's some people who know you, and there's an element of positive mystery. Who's that guy?
Who is that guy?
He wears sunglasses. He has no Instagram posts, and I enjoyed that because I think you can fill in the blanks positively of who's that guy. Problem is when we have to start making the jump where Andrew might have to start meeting some people in the industry. Then they get to know what he's like as a person.
Which is the nub. The problem.
It's a bit of a problem.
It's a bit of the problem because I think with mystery, as you say, filled with mystery often, you know, it's going to be filled with positive ideas and people are going to long to create the image of me in their own head. And then they're confronted with a realistic image of me. Yeah,
so this was a gig with like 4 other acts on, and obviously if you're doing gigs regularly, you know all the acts. You've gigged with them for 3 or 4 years. That it's still a work environment, but it's quite an informal place, and you've kind of just generally have an understanding with each other of how things work. Andrew took was very drunk.
Well, I don't know. It was
from the off.
It all hit me a bit by surprise that evening. Everything just happened in front of me. I was saying, me and Adam went on a bit of a limb. We were just going to have one beer outside on a Friday night, and we had shit to do on Saturday. We'd go to bed when we found out you're performing. And then it turned out I was drunker than I've ever been for at least 3 years.
You were really drunk.
Honestly, one of the drunkest I've ever been.
Yeah, you were extraordinarily drunk.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun in controlled environment with people you've known for about 10 years. Then it's enjoyable because you can like kind of lock the bull in, and it's an enjoyable show. But yeah, it kind of outrageous. And also, you haven't had sex in a long time, have you? You're in a couple of weeks. You're in a dry patch. And Andrew, I remember when you had a dry patch sexually that was like 3-4 months, which, you know, most people can deal with, but you start getting weird. Your punchlines in jokes often end with you like acting out humping, and then it often happens is that you're kind of like, we'll be making jokes, then you're like, you make jokes about implying something fucks something else, but then you'll carry on the thing a bit too much, and you'll go away to another
really
place.
Look at people in the eye.
Yeah, it's
not something I'm proud of, but it's something that happens.
He was on Heat.
I've been on Heat for a while now.
And then you in that moment, Andrew falls in love very fast. He fell in love with one of the comedians who was on a date.
She wasn't on a date at the time I fell in love with her.
Sure.
She was on a date. There was 2 sets. So I stayed for both of them.
Yeah.
And on the first set, I walked in and she was on, and she was lovely. And just gorgeous. So
Andrew hasn't met new women for a long time.
No.
He hasn't met. There's only been about 8 women you've seen all year.
Yeah,
much.
it's true.
So
it's
it's
just
like
I'm kind of got like friends of friends, and most women I can't sleep with. So, so it was almost like I'd been let out for the first time, and the first woman I saw, I was like, who is this princess standing in front of me? She was very attractive though, regarded out of context. Great comedian. But she did her first set. I fell in love as soon as I walked in the room, and then she said that she on stage she said that she was going off to on a date and then going to bring him to the second set, and I cried into my beers that were on the table.
Yeah. Many beers.
The 10 beers I had on the table. I loved you. It's the weirdest heckle that you could do. Don't do it. I love you.
It's not even I love you. It's I loved you.
I loved you. Yeah.
I love you.
You've ruined everything.
And that's not a problem. That's fine. I guess that when it was like became a bit of an issue, we're all going for drinks afterwards. It was all nice. We're all chatting, and then Andrew sat next to me, and he gives me this look, which is a dangerous look, where he sort of goes like this. And it's kind of like, how about... And you suggested what was the line you were going to say.
It was a great line. And we're
all sitting there. The Queen's there with her date.
Comedian's there with the date.
Yeah.
And I was going to... Just at the end, I was just a little... It's jokey as well. It wasn't too serious. So she was on the date. It was... Ironically, I spoke to him the most quite a lot of the time during that night.
Great guy.
Yeah, he was lovely.
I really got on with him. It was very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, he was nice. But so we went. There was just the 4 of us speaking as well. Yeah. I should have gone and had another conversation, which I did actually. But I was going to go up at the end and say, I really enjoyed your set. You were really good. Thank you very much for that. And also, if you want to go on a date with a guy that's not wearing a bucket hat, you know where to find me.
And he was so proud of himself and kept telling me that line. And I laughed off the first couple of times because I was like, obviously he's not going to do it. But then on like the 5th time of him asking, mainly because he'd forgotten he'd already told me, and he'd come with the same sort of smug look. Hey,
I've got an idea. Actually.
Just too close to my ear. And then I had to have a little side.
Horatio vetoed it.
I had to have a little word with him. I'm like, look, Drew, this is not university. This is not this is not some strangers. These are people I will see regularly.
Yeah.
Words get around quick. I can't have the first gig the podcast co-host comes to. He tries to break up a date and is unbelievably drunk. So I had to give it a very strong veto.
And I very nearly disregarded the veto.
Very nearly. I saw him. I was like, this is a risk because he doesn't have to do the consequences because there's not really reputation to.
There's not.
It's all me who has to take all this shit.
But I did eventually enact the veto by not doing it.
And then he kind of like his eyes were he got like he realised that this was not going to happen. So then he turned around and saw another woman on another date, and then sat down and started just outrageously flirting with her and just slowly cutting this guy out of the convo.
They were nice people. We had a nice conversation, mostly about Italian passports. They were Italian.
I mean, you were talking so much shit.
I was talking so much shit. And like, what happens is because I can handle my drink very well, so I never feel like I'm in a position where I'm saying anything like ridiculous.
That's the problem. You've got a lot of confidence.
But then when you have 15 beers in a night, then you maintain that confidence without the skill. So I've looked back at some of that conversation, and it's fairly hazy. But I can't. It was a lot of drivel. I got the hiccups during it. And when I get the hiccups, it often lasts for a long time. So I had to go to the bathroom and do this swallowing thing. But I mean, you're not ever going to be doing that well when you're mid conversation about the difference between Italian and English boys.
No.
And then I did. Again, I guess I tried to get a number in front of the guy, which wasn't great.
Did you try and get the number?
Yeah.
And what did she say? I'm on a date.
Well, yeah, she said I have a boyfriend. But I didn't ever put two and two together that was probably him. So I presume it might have been him. It might not have been him.
And then we were out with our flatmate Adam, who is the best looking of us, for sure.
Absolutely.
There's no two ways about it. He's a very attractive man.
Absolutely.
But has an incredibly low sex drive.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of Andrew.
And the opposite of me. Great. Ugly and horny. Thank you. Very good.
And you have a problem because you roll around with Adam a lot that you really can't go out.
No, I can't. You can't go out in the pool with him because it's like there's a cliche, and I think it was in Don John, the film, where it's like, be careful of women who surround themselves with less attractive women because it's making them comparatively look more attractive.
Yeah.
So it's a vice versa thing here.
Where you're looking less attractive.
When I'm looking, because I'm fine looking, but he's just gorgeous. So it's like, for fuck's sake, man. And it's like, I would go out on the pool. I've never been out on the pool in my life, to be honest. But I would go out and meet women and meet women with him. But it's not going to go well because as soon if we maybe catch a couple of ladies' eyes, if we catch two ladies' eyes, go over to them. I know in their heads they're thinking, well, I don't want that.
Do you want to tell that story of when the person came up in Heatwaves, the bar?
Oh God, I can't even remember. There was someone came. It was. I can't remember it enough. But basically, someone came up and I think spoke to me or like.
No. Someone said the.
Oh my God! Yes, I remember. Yeah, a waiter. Me and Adam were out on Brighton Beach having a drink, and then a male waiter comes up and says, "Oh, my colleague's really into you," to me, and I was like, "Are you sure it's not him?" I said, "Are you sure it's not him?" And he was like, "No, you." I was like, "Well, fuck me. That's the first time that's happened." And then upon later realization, it was him. And the waiter made a mistake. He did come and apologise. I didn't know what to say at that point. It was like, you gave me everything and took it all away within 10 minutes.
And that was the funny thing, is that Adam has like a relatively low sex drive. So he doesn't at all. And maybe that's what's attractive, is because he's not like...
Well, his face is very attractive.
Yeah, I guess so.
And his body. He's
but
a very
it was just a
man.
funny night with... he actually went home with the lady in the end.
Yeah, he broke the dot.
Yeah, for the first time in a long while. And it was just funny that he wasn't trying at all. And it probably takes a lot to convince Adam to go home with anyone.
He was trying that night, actually.
Do you think?
He was, yeah. He did want to break there.
Yeah.
But if you're going to contrast that with me, if you just want to continually paint me as even more pathetic and just keep going in that, we could do it. We could do it, or we could talk about what actually happened. But let's go for that route.
Yeah.
Well, we had a bit of it. Adam's usually the one who goes home at a reasonable hour of the night, gets a good night's sleep, wants to go home and watch TV. And we had a completely flipped weekend.
Yeah.
He was off gallivanting, having sex or trying to have sex with women, and then staying out late. He called in sick for work. He was 2 hours late for work, etc.
Really?
So, and then on Sunday we went to a friend's house, and I went back early, and I was done. I was like, you know what? I want to go home and watch The West Wing with a takeaway.
Yeah.
And he stayed out. So we can only explain it by it was a Freaky Friday situation.
Do you think it was a Freaky Friday?
It was a Freaky Friday situation.
Saturday.
Yeah, Freaky Weekend situation.
Freaky weekends.
So we swapped bodies.
Sure.
And just kind of enacted our own different ways of being.
So in many ways, you did pull this weekend.
I did, yeah. It's mostly a post-rationalisation of my unsuccessful weekend. But in many ways, all of his success is attributed to me.
No, because it is, yeah. And then Andrew also, I've often shared a lot of my female colleagues' comedic work. I'm going to keep saying colleagues. And Andrew's fallen in love with quite a few of them as well. And is constantly wanting to... I mean, so it's going to be interesting. Now it's opening up. Now Andrew's in London. I'm
in London and I'm single for the first time in a long time.
No, it's going to be interesting. But the night was good. I nearly had a meltdown on stage.
He got so angry, and it was kind of justified, but
no, I was really bad. It was bad. It was unprofessional.
It
was going fine. It was going all right.
There were two women.
There was two women just chatting the whole time, and I was just.
It was a small room, and it was quite a colloquial atmosphere. So, and I think a lot of people didn't understand the nature of a performance versus a conversation.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of people engaging. It wasn't heckling. People just thought that they could reply, and then they're not really understand the flow of a joke and how it needs to get to a punchline.
Yeah.
But these two were ridiculous.
They were talking a lot, and I'm normally all right at dealing with that, which is the way to deal with it, is you speak to them, you kind of bring up in quite a playful tone that you're talking that much, and you can slowly make it more aggressive. But the key thing, the number one thing with any of these, is you have to keep the crowd on the side. As soon as you lose the crowd, you're fucked. Because already you're in the right because they're talking, the crowd don't want them to talk. So it's easy to play on that unless you somehow act worse than they're already
become the bad guy.
Yeah, become the bad guy. That can sometimes happen because I was so, in that moment, I was so angry, I actually lost control.
I've known Horatio for a long time. I've seen him perform stand-up many times. I've seen him being angry many times. And there was a moment they said something a couple of times, and he tried to do that. Yeah. And then your face just turned, and I just saw it drop. And I just like, I turned to Adam, I was like, he's fucking pissed off. This is about to go poorly. And he just kind of proceeded to unleash on these women, not really making any jokes.
No.
Particularly. It was more just like giving them an education in
I was having like a real rant. And then it was
I found it hilarious. It wasn't a big room. I was laughing.
It was a shaky 5 minutes, and I pulled it back near the end, and it was all right in the end. But
one of our friends.
It was like... it was like sailing a boat, and then it was some real turbulence for about 5 minutes. It was really trying to like rebuild the vibe in the room.
It was rocky. It was rocky, but we made it at the end. It was a very proud night for both of us. I mean, one of our friends heckled you because when you asked what's after you lost the crowd, you'd think one of our friends would maintain the side of that.
Yeah.
You asked what's your name, and he went, "Don't tell him."
Yeah.
And I was, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, and our friend who's notoriously bad at speaking during comedy shows. It was fun. Is there anything else? Have you done anything else this week of note?
I think that's it, really. The rest have just been, it's too bloody hot.
It's too bloody hot.
It's too bloody hot. It's hard to sleep. I mean...
How are you with the heat?
Fine.
What's your go-to temp?
Go-to temp?
What's your
I'd say...
Where do you thriving?
I thrive. It can be almost any heat.
Yeah.
It can be any heat in the world.
Sure.
When it gets to that point of the evening when the sun is like just going down and there's a bit of a breeze in the evening and you're walking. So maybe at like 5 p.m.
You're most powerful.
6 exactly. Exactly. You walk around with a real strut in your step and kind of power running through your loins. And that's my most powerful and my average and my best temp. So it's not necessarily a temperature, but it's at the cool points of the day when the sun's just going down.
Yeah.
What's yours? You don't look like someone who can handle the sun.
I don't look like someone who can handle the sun. I don't look good in the sun. I look best in autumn because of the autumnal tones suit me and the layering. And
it's kind of a sad boy.
You want to, and you want to cover as much of your body as possible when you're like lanky and skinny. Yeah, this is beefy guy season. This is
absolutely.
This isn't lanky boy season. Lanky boy autumn. You know, like gym bros wearing like autumnal coat and like
because
brown
they always
trousers.
Wear the skinny jeans.
They look stupid as fuck.
They do.
They look silly with like the big clothes.
They look like they've been poured into something.
Yeah. But then as soon as it's get the guns out, then it's their time.
Then it's their time.
Then we're like, fair enough. We had our seasons.
We've enjoyed ourselves.
But having said that, though I don't look the best or I'm built for it or my body regulates itself, I really like the heat and I like the kind of holiday feel where it breaks up routine the best.
Yeah.
And I don't like people complaining about it because I like it because it feels like you don't actually have to do all the things you're meant to do because it's hot. Do you know what I mean? There's like a feeling that it's like the routine. Even at school, it felt like when it was really hot, it felt like, are we really going to do the same thing? Because it's different now. It's like when it snows.
Yeah.
When it's super hot, it's like
something
changes. We can do weird shit now.
And it's impossible and maybe immoral to stick to that same routine.
Yeah, exactly. And it just feels it breaks the routine because most of the British weather has like a spectrum. But snow and superheat are like the two extremes.
Exactly. I mean, I echo that sentiment. However, in a 9-to-5 job, you don't. It tends
The routine is carry on going.
The most offensive thing that's happened to me in the last week is that my company have given us a £5 allowance to spend on ice lollies.
Oh God! Not a pay rise.
Not a pay rise.
Not a pay rise.
Guys, we know you're already working really hard for not enough money. And we do appreciate that it's really hot out there. So here's £5 for each of you on ice lollies. And then they caveat it with maximum £5 each.
Yeah.
For each individual.
It's true. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah.
You'd have to use that £5 on just ice lollies.
On condoms.
You can use it. We can use it on condoms.
I believe it would be a tough one to put through the expenses for.
Oh, you have to put it through an expense.
Yeah.
And when for £5, putting an expensive form for £5, it becomes.
I'm not gonna do it.
What that takes?
I ain't buying ice lollies for that.
That's about as much as you get paid for the work in that time it
Correct.
takes to fill out the expenses form.
Correct.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insulting, I think.
Yeah.
Well, companies' seemingly moral, new starty uppy kind of kiddie Kickstarter.
Go down
the party into your future office, and then it's just a cubicle.
Yeah.
That's a good metaphor for new wave companies.
It's the same as the 90s offices.
Well, welcome to the office. Get out that bull pit and down that slide. Woo! And then you just land straight in a white cubicle. Can you do your work, please? Yeah. We've got targets to meet.
Well, you've got like a bouncy chair.
Yeah. Oh no, you just got one of those exercise balls.
Yeah.
No, good for your posture. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go and buy them. Maybe I won't. I'm not going to buy them. What's your favourite ice lolly?
My favourite ice lolly. Good question. Thanks for asking.
That's a pleasure.
There's two different types. There's chocolate.
Thank you for answering. We're moving on to the next segment. What's your favourite ice lolly?
Ice lolly. I would probably say a Calippo.
Calippo? Really?
What else?
That's a bit lame.
What would you go for?
Magnum White.
That's not a lolly.
Oh, you're a dickhead, aren't you?
Obviously, I'd go for Magnum.
You're a fucking
I'd go for
dickhead.
Magnum Almond.
Are you actually differentiating between
there's
ice
a lolly
lollies and ice
ice
cream?
Yeah,
You're a
and
fucking loser.
I'd go for Magnum Almond.
You're a fucking loser.
And I'd go
I've
for a
never
Calippo.
seen anyone differentiate ice lollies and ice cream like that.
Lollies is a different thing.
You're a fucking... So what's the collective of the two?
Ice cream, I'd probably say.
Well, you've said that's one of the two categories.
Ice cream and lollies. Ice cream and lollies. Does anyone want ice cream and lollies? That's what people say.
Okay.
Has anyone pop to get some ice cream and lollies?
So what's a fab?
That's an ice lolly.
Touche. What's your favourite cold treat that's on a stick?
Magnum Almond.
Magnum Almond?
Yeah.
Okay. And your favourite ice lolly is a Calippo?
What
other ice lollies
Liquid
are there?
radio.
What other ice lollies
fruit
are
pastel rolly one.
Yeah, a round trees.
Round trees.
Actually.
That's all right.
I've had yeah.
To be honest, I can only think of those two.
Yeah, that's
and
the
I think
point.
I might prefer the round tree one.
How about... Yeah, maybe. What's like a fucking... Well, a fab must be in there. That's quite good.
No, I don't like the fab. Overrated.
I'm not really a kind of a sweet man.
You don't really like your sweets.
I'm
you like your vegetables.
Chocolate. I like my vegetables and my fruit. I don't like.
You don't like fruit.
I don't like fruit.
Yeah.
So what vegetables and?
Well, you said you like your vegetables and your fruit.
Sorry, I thought you were joking.
No, you like you have a I love fruit. Not a huge fan of vegetables. You love vegetables and hate fruit.
Can you stop telling me who I am?
No, it's true. This is what you like. Bookmark Boys ad. We're just interrupting the episodes to bring you Bookmark Boys, our sponsor, our very good sponsor. Local businesses, you've got to be supporting ethical local businesses post-lockdown. They've supported us through thick and thin, through Andrew's sexual assault trial.
It's been a tough one, but I couldn't have done it without the mental and financial support from the Bookmark
They
Boys.
were funding him.
They were funding me. They were funding me.
They crushed the opposition, even though it was not their fault.
They actually funded the sexual assault itself.
So,
ethical business.
Ethical business. No, we're just kidding. The Bookmark Boys are a great bookmark dispensary company. Nice lady. Follow her on Instagram. She makes at the Bookmark Boys.
The Bookmark Boys.
She makes lovely bespoke bookmarks, and I'm sure you can message and ask for bookmarks.
If your bookmarks aren't bespoke, what are you doing?
We got Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Sometimes I worry I wouldn't be such a feminist if I had bigger tits. We've got
the guy Peter Marsh from Come Dine With Me. What a sad little life, Jane.
We've got Schmidt, new girl. I can't talk right now. I'm writing a strongly worded email to my florist.
That's the same Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but there's more. There's so much more on the website, on the Instagram.
Yes, please keep subscribing to Bookmark Boys. That you won't regret it. It's the best company in the world. Let's go see what we're talking about, huh?
I wonder what the boys are up to now.
Anyway, can we stop talking utter shite for a second?
Okay.
And can we talk about what we're actually meant to talk about?
Which is?
The Olympics, which started today.
Today?
Yeah.
Not on the day of filming, not on the day of publishing.
On the day of filming.
Yeah.
Yeah. The opening ceremony starts on Friday, so when this comes out, it will be out.
Watch out for us.
GB women's football, they just beat Chile 2-0, I think.
They did, yes.
And I frankly love the Olympics.
I am a big Olympiad.
And I thought everyone liked the Olympics, but people really don't give a fuck about it.
Olymp nuts?
Oh, we're
Olymp nuts.
Olymp heads.
Olymp heads.
You're a Olymp head, yeah.
Prefer a limp nut, but...
Yeah,
but go on.
And I've always loved the Olympics. I mean, the only three I've ever watched are Beijing, London, and Rio.
It's rookie numbers.
And Britain did well in all three of those, exceptionally well.
Exceptionally,
and but all three of them were kind of like better than the last, and were very exciting, partly because of that. But I just love that shit. I love waking up and getting gas for taekwondo, ping pong.
Heck yeah.
Whatever the sport.
Bring it on.
Like, it's like a taster menu where you sit there
Oh.
and you've got your, like, you wrap a towel around. You're like, I don't care what it is. I trust what's being made in the kitchen. I'll fucking eat it.
Never has the red button been such an enticing thing.
Okay, you know what? Water polo, it's got a little bit dull. Let's check out archery. Come on.
Oh, I wonder how the pentathlon's doing.
Exactly. It's like going on your holiday. On your holidays. It's like being on your holidays, and it's stuff like, I wouldn't normally do this, but we're on a holiday.
We're on a holiday.
You know, I wouldn't normally sit and watch 3 hours of archery, but...
but look at the weather. It is, no, I echo those sentiments.
But people don't really seem to give a fuck about it. Because I think, I felt because Britain did well, I think there was a lot of media around it, so people were talking about it a lot. But I think in general, people don't seem to give that. And no one's given a fuck about this Olympics.
I thought, for my perception of it was... Other than the football, it's the second most watched sporting event or kind of engaged with sporting event that occurs.
Yeah.
Other than like a World Cup.
But it's spread very wide.
I guess, it's spread wide because you can't latch onto one team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even though Team GB is one team.
I mean, just speaking to people, I mean, admittedly, I'm not going to... It's something that I love to watch, but I'm not going to talk shop. You know, the Euros are literally... I would happily speak for an hour about...
Well, you happily speak for 4 weeks about it.
Exactly, but the Olympics, I'm not going to be. I don't want to talk.
You're not going to be discussing.
I don't want to talk to people.
Johnson's archery technique
because I don't care. I don't care that much.
Be firmer on that release.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just not going to hit it.
It's pure expectation because I really don't understand.
Oh, but
I don't have any tips. With football, you have a bit of understanding or things that you can actually. But with Olympics, I'm like, I don't know anything.
But it's the joy. That's where the joy comes from. Yeah. Upon just clicking on and watching any flipping sport.
And the Tokyo Olympics was going to be sick, and COVID's fucked it. Completely fucked it. Because it would have been great. One, it's been delayed by a year.
They've also been mental.
They've been a bit mental.
There's no sex bed.
They keep fucking it. What?
Have you seen the no sex bed?
Go on.
They're in the Olympic Village.
This is one of many things. Andrew knows more about this than me. One of the many fuck-ups.
It's a pretty astonishing... There's one every day. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
In the Olympic Village, there's obviously different rooms, different beds and stuff. And what they've done is they've installed anti-sex beds to stop athletes having sex. I guess it's to do with COVID. It could be some kind of... Glenn Hoddle could be somewhat in charge.
I think Glenn Hoddle's something to do with this. This is a Glenn Hoddle. This has got Glenn Hoddle.
It stinks of Hoddle and Walsh. He moves on for the chase. He's on to someone else. I don't know.
It stinks of Hoddle and Walsh.
Stinks of Hoddle and Walsh. But so what it is, it's like they're like cardboard beds, and so instead of one mattress, just bed. Is that what a bed? Well, a bed is a collective, but is there a word for the thing under the mattress?
Frame.
No, that's the thing at the top, isn't it?
Top of the mattress?
No, as in like a headboard. So is that a bed frame?
That's a bed frame.
It's not very frame-like.
No, obviously it's more of a block.
If someone knows the actual answer, please comment in the section.
Well, frame is probably more elevated things. That's
okay. So the bed frame,
for all intents and purposes, the frame.
The bed frame
sure.
is, instead of being one long thing that covers the entirety of the mattress, it's like 3 cardboard blocks, which I believe, I've done some scientific assessments on it, means that you can only really lie on it if you've got an even distribution of your weight across it. Which means that if you were fucking, the bed would just collapse.
But can't you just have the mattress on the floor?
Correct.
But then is it the shame?
It's the
is
shame
it gonna be
of
like
taking
a
the mattress off.
Tale sort of like punishment thing by the Japanese authorities for all the whores and sluts.
If you Westerners are going to come over here, you're not going to fuck on our watch, okay?
That is fucking weird as shit.
How odd is that? I think
they all
it's due to
fuck, and
COVID.
it's like they should. As
That's
they should.
part of the joy of being in the Olympic
They've
Village.
spent 4 years on their own,
Training.
literally meeting with their old crusty
Waking
trainer.
up at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah, they've got no
diving
friends.
off tall
They
places into
deserve
pools.
to have sex with hot. They're all hot and sexy and athletic. Those
They're
swimmers.
in their prime.
It's like Love Island. It's all these kind of like
Olympic
athletic,
Love Island would be fantastic.
extraordinary.
Because it would be, instead of they have to go off and do a challenge where they pie each other, they could go off and like win an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
So that's,
That's
this
what
added
the challenge
drama.
is.
That's the challenge.
The challenge is genuinely the archery.
I watched an episode of Love Island last night, and I haven't got loads of takes on it because I only watched one episode. But what astonishes me is how obvious, like how bait the
Who'd
fucking.
you watch it with?
Myself.
You did a solo.
I did a solo.
Okay.
How obvious the music is like tailored to the drama. So if there's like a bad thing coming up, it's like a storm is coming.
Yeah, but it's not like
storm.
it's not playing the emotions like a orchestral score trying to do silent.
Yeah.
It'll just be the words.
The
will
word.
say.
All it is like the song is almost irrelevant. They're just looking. I think they just type in on Google songs with sadness. In.
Yeah.
It's like, I just broke up with this woman on Love Island.
I'm gonna go down
to the
stairs.
pool. Probably gonna have a dip. No, I'm not.
Anyway, my
back
thoughts
to
on
the-
Love Island is
Oh.
that it's obviously people gave it a lot of shit, but I think it's now boring to trash it. I really like collective shit, and I'll take. It's not ideal.
It's not great.
It's not ideal, but it's collective.
But here we are. We're a team.
BB fucking loves it. BB was.
I was talking to her about
BB
it.
turned her nose up at it, and then my sister was watching it, and she watched it. And BB, honestly, it's her favorite thing to watch. She loves it. I like watching it with someone who likes it.
Yeah.
And it feels like I could leave. Do
I-
you know what I mean?
I don't.
It feels like I can come in and see them enjoy it, say some witty comments about and then I get to leave. I'm not stuck in that world.
I would agree.
Yeah.
But I fundamentally disagree because
Wow.
Look, I'm going to say some shit this episode, and you better put your seatbelts on because it's going to be a bit bumpy. But so, I agree with the sentiment, but I don't agree with watching it with someone who loves it because they feel the need to constantly explain to you exactly what's happened in the past episodes.
That's what I like.
I don't like that.
I love the glee on their face.
But they're mostly obsessed with it, so they need to pause it while they explain it to you. Then it becomes a 3-hour viewing experience.
Okay, I guess so. But I think there's little bits, and I don't mind getting into it for the thing. And it has been. Did you watch last night's episode?
I did watch last night's episode.
Last night's episode. I'm into Lucinda.
I don't know
the
then.
really hot one, the blonde one.
Yeah.
The
She's-
one who's
there's
clearly,
one who's actually really
clearly
hot.
the most hot one.
Yeah, I think I know.
And
you're talking
she
about. Was she
is
wearing
so-
like little buns?
Yes, and
For
she's
the 70s theme party.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, she's
and
gorgeous.
she's so clearly unbelievably thick, like thicker than the rest of them as well.
Yeah.
Like one of the thickest there, but she's so hot and hotter than the rest of them.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like anyone she's been with, and she's only pretended to be with all of them just to because you have to stay in. And she's basically just sleepwalking through that with
She
just
is.
bored by these ugly people is what I feel for
Do you
Lucinda.
think?
I think
I
she's
know.
above it in some ways because she's just like she's not finding anyone.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of there's nothing going on there.
There
If you
wasn't that much content of her in that episode.
No.
And that is the only episode I've watched.
Yeah.
So I agree on sentiment.
Yeah.
But there are
We could make a Love Island pod.
we can make a Love Island pod.
But anyway, so
But let's do the Olympics. We can do that. I can. Well, maybe I'll watch some more.
Watch the.
I'll watch some
Are we
more.
watching some tonight?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch some more as well.
Yeah.
So that was one controversy of the Olympics. I don't really know what to make of it. It must be a COVID thing, but hey. Another one is
The comments about women.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, women have just generally been a bit fucked. In this one, don't get me wrong, I'm into it, but this is, I don't really get what the fuck they're thinking.
Yeah.
They are, for beach volleyball, the Norwegian team said, we're not going to wear bikini bottoms, we're going to wear shorts.
Yeah.
They said, no, you can't, because that's regulation. So
This is hodl. This is hodl.
it does reek of hodl. But, so the men wear shorts, but the women The women are contractually obliged to wear bikini bottoms for beach volleyball. Now, that doesn't sit great with me.
No, it doesn't. But then there is something about the seriousness of taking beach volleyball to an Olympic degree when it's like, it is still beach volleyball.
The rules are there for a reason. But it does, I've never believed in
it's like forcing casualness.
Yeah.
It's like forcing having a chilled out whatever time at the beach.
Look, you're just not upholding beach volleyball standards. Now, I've never believed in the patriarchy more than in this instance.
But it's Japan, which is quite a patriarchy.
But it's the IOC.
Yeah.
So it's not just Japan.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It's the IOC. So Japan.
I think it feels very bureaucratic, a lot of these issues. It feels like it's going. A lot of pen pushers are scared to make any changes because it will send too many ripples through. But from the sexual conservatism of no sex beds to the bikini bottoms, there's no consistency.
There's no consistency.
Like, have no sex beds, but then also dress the beach volleyball women up as nuns.
Yeah.
Let's have some consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
Or have a sex room and naked. Both teams are naked.
Because there's no logic behind why they can't wear shorts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not really getting in the way.
No, you can't wear shorts because you'll have an unfair advantage. That could be the only reason. Otherwise, let them wear what the fuck they want.
Well, maybe it'll be like, in Wimbledon you have to wear white. It's like as out.
Do you think that applies to bikini bottoms?
Maybe it's out of respect. It's out of respect because I think a lot of old beach volleyballists who used to beach volleyball back in like the 50s will be there, and it'll break their heart to see shorts on a beach volleyball, a sport that they've worked hard to bring to the fore.
We broke through barriers so you could be here and just shitting all over it. But it's actually like, I'm sorry, there's traditions for a reason, and we have to see a certain amount of your bum.
Yeah. We're going to have to be seeing cheeks.
We're going to have to be seeing
I'm so sorry. I respect what you're saying, but we're going to have to be seeing cheeks.
I understand your concerns, but this is bigger than you.
Can we get the cheeks out, girls?
In fact, why aren't they out right now? Why are you wearing a suit in my office? Yeah, that is obscene.
And then
no sense.
The head of the organisation of it had to step down because he made a comment about women being like pigs.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Do you know about this?
No, I don't know that one. You carry
on.
About what?
Well, about what you were saying about the controversies in the Olympics.
Well, should we do one of mine and then one of yours?
Yes.
Okay, so another one was... we've done the sex beds, we've done the beach volleyball. Another one was... this is more to do with the American team rather than the Olympic Association. What's her name? Flipping out. Cherie, Shikenzie.
Is this the Namibian woman?
No, she's American. But that's another one.
Yeah.
What's her name? Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yes.
So, it's just more of an interesting discussion as well. So she was like the fastest. She was potentially going to break world records. She was the best female American 100-meter sprinter. Obviously a very high-profile sport in the Olympics. And was racing as the best in the world for a very long time. She's like 19 or something. Her mum died like 3 months before the Olympics or something. She had a joint, and then she tested positive for weed, and then she's banned from it.
Fucked. So fucked.
And it just, because you've obviously got to have an anti-doping policy.
Yeah. But weed's not going to make you better.
It's going to make you worse.
It's going to make
you don't want to get up. You're not going to want to get up for training in the morning.
Get bonus points.
I think
for
you should.
How much substance abuse you can take.
If someone won an Olympic gold medal in a 100-meter sprint and they were blazed as fuck, give that man like 2 medals. Give that woman 2
amount
medals.
of alcohol poisoning in his stomach.
I'm so high. Just on the start, I am so high.
Came 10th, but because of the bonus points.
Yeah.
And people are like, this is unfair. They are the rules that were established 100 years ago at Tokyo 2021.
You should get 1 second shaved off your 100-meter time for every drug you intake within 5 minutes of the start of the race.
Shaved on?
Taken off. So if you go
Positive
so it has to negatively affect your points. So if you go in high on weed, ket, and acid,
sure,
you can have 3 seconds taken off. 3 seconds taken off your end time.
Oh, okay. So that's
because it's a miracle you got to the end.
It's a miracle. And this is why they're Olympians. They're superhuman.
They're superhuman.
They're the pinnacle of physical human achievement that we can only aspire to.
We really can only aspire to it.
And it's like I'll imagine like a guy who looks sort of like Liam Gallagher, bucket hat, got the thing, and he's going like, oh fucking hell,
he can just handle ket like a king. Okay, go on then. runs it in once 13 seconds, becomes first.
With this one, it is quite funny because it's just it sums up the fuckery. One, take a look at the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
So Tokyo, Hiroshi Sasayaki suggested a female entertainer should dress as a pig in the opening ceremony.
Females what?
He suggested that a female entertainer who he likened to a pig should dress as one.
Double whammy of sexism and, well, just being a mean person.
And that was, I think, 3 days after saying the reason women aren't... after complaining that... he complained about the reason why the meetings were dragging on in the Tokyo Olympics and why a lot of these things are slowing down was because of talkative women making the meetings drag on, and that was like in a space of 3 days, and then he had to sit down. It was just that double whammy.
You got to double down on it though, because I think you
I like that. Okay, I think you look like a pig, so why don't you dress up as a pig? No, that's disgusting. Oh, okay. Well, also, can we stop these chatty women?
Yapping. I think you got to double down on it. He's doing like a Louis C.K. where he's been cancelled and he's coming back and coming to his more just approaching his more right wing audience and leaning into the more anti-PC but horrible right wing audience.
Yeah, I think he's got to triple down and you got to keep going because he's lost his job. What have you got to lose?
What
now?
have you got to lose?
Exactly.
Just find your crowd and I guess God bless and stick to it. But there's some deep dark corners of the world.
And it's been a bit fucked. Some people are calling for like boycott the Olympics. I'm like, it's not that stage. It's just a little bit incompetent. It doesn't seem like it's deeply.
It seems. Well, it's
or
because
maybe.
It's one of these things that's in so, and we were talking about it with Wimbledon and shit, when there's sport, you've got to uphold the certain standards of sport.
And the values of Olympics, that's the whole thing, is it's like their whole kind of brand is the friendship's the real winner,
exactly.
or whatever they say.
But when you start, I mean, like, it's the whole point of sports, so we can have actual, like, we can fight each other without killing each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And once you start fucking up like this, we're gonna start wars, man.
It's gonna we need to be. This is the easy
part.
Let
the women wear shorts. Let black athletes who have black swimmers who have bigger hair wear bigger swimming caps.
It does feel. I've been to Japan and I love Japan. I love Japanese culture and all of that. It is great, but it does feel like it's like they're like. Probably, arguably the most advanced nation on earth, but there's some crazy blind spots.
This is the IOC, remember? This isn't Japan.
Is it?
Yes. I mean, I don't know. There might be an interaction with Japan, but there's an International Olympic Committee, and that's the governing body, which kind of...
And Seb Coe, is he still the lead?
He was the one in charge of Britain's enacting of the UK Olympics.
Okay. All right, well, I'm not sure. It strikes me because it's such a white country, it feels like... it's like 99% white.
I think there'll be a conversation between the governing hosts and the IOC.
Because then you can understand the pure ignorance of saying, well, why would you need an afro-shaped thing? I don't have an afro.
Yeah.
Why would you need an afro swimming cap?
I can fit my hair perfectly fine into these caps.
None of us have afros.
So what's the problem?
Who are we talking about there?
Yeah. Oh, her. Crikey. Who's she? Jesus, okay. Well, no, you can't have it.
No. Rules are rules.
Mental. Just like you, it's
just too easy as well.
Because you cannot. So I believe in the sanctity of sport, as we've spoken about to death.
Uncomfortable lengths.
Starts
tearing up.
Where that everyone has to wear white during Wimbledon. For tradition, heck yeah, you have to wear white.
They love it.
But that doesn't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
There's no one going, well, I can't compete if I have to wear white.
Yeah.
You're stopping people competing. And it's not like a bikini bottom thing where we don't want to expose ourselves as much as we need as this because we believe it goes into sexist narratives.
Yeah.
Just fucking change the rules.
100%.
We've got to have an element of appreciating tradition and culture whilst having the common sense to change it when it needs to.
It needs to be a bit more fluid because it is a very modern thing as well. So what's happening? Another question, because there's been I remember in the other Olympics there was so much build up, and the Olympics starts literally in 2 days properly, and there's been so little.
There's been very little.
BBC Sport maybe 2 days ago posted things about it, and I hadn't seen anything.
The build up has been in the controversies, I think. So annoyingly, it's one of these events that we can look forward to and kind of lose ourselves in the event and forget politics and the world and everything. Yeah. And now all we're doing is remembering.
That's not going to happen.
Not at all. And so they're not just the last controversy that came out today was so England. I think England. Who did they play? Chile. England and Chile both took the knee for the football. GBR. Sorry. Well, humble apologies to our Scottish, Welsh, and Northern Irish listeners.
And the Isle of Man.
And the Isle of Wight. I'm going to say the Isle of Scilly then.
Yeah. No, it'd be Channel Islands.
Channel Islands, Guernsey. All of you
and
love
British
it.
overseas territories.
All of you love
Sandwich
it, people.
Islands. Say Georgia. Go on.
You done?
Falklands. Go on.
Falklands? You claiming that?
No, I'm not claiming it. But they are claimed. They have been claimed.
Bit of a slip up.
I feel we ended that argument 30 years ago.
Bit of a
We
slip
can
up.
have it again. We can have it again, guys.
Look, right. Falklands aside. There was they both teams took the knee, and again the International Olympic Committee put a rule out saying that there can be no images shared of any athlete taking the knee on their social media platforms. So any Olympics, so like official Olympics, so you'd see if you went on Twitter and saw the Olympics with the rings and the blue tick. Yeah. I imagine that's what it looks like, but I haven't looked at it. That's not the important part of this story.
No.
On Twitter, you'd never be able to see like just any images of any athlete taking the knee whatsoever. Bearing in mind where the Olympics is quite proud and openly talks about like the Black Power salute, and that's
like one of the most famous,
one of the most iconic protests and the start of a symbol of all time.
Jesse Owens.
Yeah.
Running in front of Hitler. That's that's in the montage. That's like 2 of the 12
Politics
clips.
is sadly, it's inseparable from the Olympics.
And always has been.
But then they're almost the Olympic Committee are politicizing it so much that it's just depoliticizing it.
You know something about that there is something about that Nazi Olympics that no one talks about.
What about it?
Because it's always seen as this big victory and this very powerful thing, which it was. Do you know the Nazis absolutely dominated?
I did.
Did you know that? Well, that's something I didn't know.
There was a lot of
dominated that Olympics. They like crushed so hard.
It's one of those things in history. You kind of look at the teachers showing Jesse Owens and all these people standing there, and then they won by a long way. And then on to that.
Yeah. And that's like I think that's one of the only times Germany's ever won.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Well, that was it.
I thought you were going to move. Yeah.
No, I think that's all my Olympic controversies.
No, but the thing about the taking the knee is, I guess when the taking the knee started in football, and I'd speak to reasonable football fans, and they would say, "I just want politics out of sport." And when they said to me, I'd be like, "Oh, that sounds kind of reasonable.
Yeah.
Why can't it be an apolitical thing?" But then the kind of change, which has been the realization, which is the whole Priti Patel Tyrone Mings clash. Has been
Patel Mingsgate.
The Patel Mingsgate has been this idea that taking the knee is all it's doing. What it is affiliation to a Marxist political group.
Yeah.
But then I guess it's less political than the right making out to be. It's more just, can we stop being racist to the players, which is something that surely everyone can get behind.
Yeah.
And then you had callers calling into LBC saying like, I think it's awful racism. I booed the taking the knee because I don't agree with the
BLM,
the riots in Ferguson destroying local businesses. And it's like, okay, come on, lad, come on, geezer.
Because
I think it's that problem of seeing taking the knee as a much more specific thing, and that's part of the left's fault as well for making the Take a Knee and Black Lives Matter become a much more sometimes specific. These are what our values are. This is what we believe. This is the ideology, as opposed to a broad symbol of let's stop this unbelievable racism.
Because the taking the knee is kind of indistinguishable in some ways. It should be. I agree. It should be distinguishable. But in some ways, with like the early Black Lives Matter protests, that must have been a year and a half ago now. It's like after George Floyd and everything.
Yeah.
And so, because what happens is when you have protests about racism, the government or kind of key political figures will just dig up anything that BLM have ever tweeted and just try and extract Marxist ideology out of it and then just claim they're Marxists, they're Marxists, they're Marxists. So it's actually, there's a few things, and I'm sure a lot of them are Marxists, because a lot of people, a lot of these kind of, that's a lot of where these social revolutions come from.
Which is the base of all left-wing modern politics
exactly.
is Marx.
It's really not that deep.
So it doesn't mean that you believe in the Gulag, but if you believe in some form of like equality, then you can probably trace it back to Marx.
Exactly. And it's because there's a fundamental, again, Marxism has become indistinguishable with communist Russia, which it just doesn't work.
Which is, I'm a fan of. I like that.
Because you don't like Marx, but you like communist Russia, and so it's tough for you because you're very underrepresented.
It is tough for me.
But so you don't. It's hard. I feel like because of the narrative that's happened, you can't really. People have. It's for a reason. People aren't able to distinguish between the two. So that because there was loads of comedians and commentators who would come out and say, can we not just agree that on the statement Black Lives Matter? As in, why can't you show how ridiculous is the kind of fallout from just saying Black Lives Matter, which is obviously true, but then the problem is it's become a movement and almost an organization. It's almost like BLM is almost a similar kind of organized group as like the Black Panthers or something, where they have a stated ideology and a purpose as a group.
Which, because the Black Panthers, as much as they did so much good stuff, you can understand why that might be too political for sport, because there's such a specific thing to subscribe to as opposed to the broad idea.
So you can't get your average Joe on it who's just going to want to, who doesn't. So
and is that what the Olympics are saying, basically?
Yeah, it is.
The same sort of thing of trying to keep politics out of it.
Exactly, but but the problem with it is that the politics behind BLM has been so engineered by people on the other side of the argument that it doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
So they've created a non-truth out of it.
They feel very Boys Gone Wild, the Olympic thing, of these sort of like...
Well, we do say racist
men.
and sexist are Boys Gone Wild.
No, I'm saying, it's more the incompetence is what I find endearing. It's like...
Yeah.
It feels like they just keep their like really clueless old white guys in a room,
sitting in a dark room.
And they're just not listening to anyone.
6 white guys sitting in a dark room with
this
cigars.
Is how we did it in the 50s.
Nah, you got to keep the bottoms on. Sorry, love.
Do you have anything else to say?
God, no.
Never do.
Never do. Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
We'll say that. We'll finish on that after a tumultuous episode.
Yes, I agree.
Well, do you have anything else to say?
No.
Well, exactly.
So it's been great. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to the Patreon.
Caress the like button.
Caress that like button.
Booty tap it.
Booty tap it and get stanky on it.
On the beat.
Right.